Yo, what is up guys, MrPantaloons here with another Opera Omnia video. So tonight we are going to talk about co-op and just how I normally play co-op, how I decide the characters that I want to use in order to have the best time when doing co-op. So first of all, I'm going to show you my team. I'm going to talk about the summons a little bit. We're going to talk about the characters I prefer, and then we are also going to do a co-op run and try and demonstrate how I make my decisions when going into a co-op mission. So right now we're gonna focus on the snow co-op, the Burning Passion one. Now let's go ahead and go right in here, and I generally have a set of 3 characters for the co-op, so I can easily switch between them, but obviously you can switch through the list here as well, but I find it a bit harder because you have to scroll through it, right? So I just try and prepare 3 characters for that one specific event, and usually it's going to be a character that is very reliable, and then 2 characters that might be low risk to high risk, but the risk ideally has the chance to provide better scores, so that is why I put those risky characters in there. So first of all, in terms of summons, you pretty much want to go for Chocobo and Sylph most of the time, because you want to make sure that you finish the co-op runs as fast as you can, and Chocobo and Sylph, they are the fastest charging summons, right? So that is pretty much obvious why you would want to get one of those 2, but those are not always the best, and mainly because sometimes the fight might be harder, so you could actually do better with a stronger summon, such as a Ifrit summoner or any of the other summons here, depending on the fight. We've actually used the Leviathan. There was a mission, the Brave region on the Leviathan actually wasn't that bad, but usually either Ifrit or Sylph and Chocobo. So for strong teams you pretty much use Chocobo or Sylph, and for weaker teams you might use something like Ifrit, just to make sure that you actually win the co-op and you don't get destroyed somehow. So it's more of a safety net just in case you fail with Chocobo and Sylph. Now for my character priority, right now I would say I prefer, my number 1 priority would be Cecil. So if I can get in with my Cecil, that is what I prefer, and that is because of the 4 uses of Valiant Blow. So Valiant Blow, as we all know, has the reliable knockback. It pretty much gives you the opportunity to charge your summon meter real quick, and then you can have a win very fast, as long as you have a strong team for it. So that is why Cecil is preferred, because you can get a ton of points by playing Cecil. Then my second priority would be someone like Cloud, someone like Lael, so other characters that still can do launches, but they're not as reliable or don't have as many uses. However, compared to Cecil, for instance, Cecil, he is a bigger risk because he deals damage to himself, right? So he's not going to work during every single co-op and with all kinds of teams. You have to be more careful when bringing in Cecil. But Cloud or Lael or anyone else who might have a launch or a chance to trigger a launch faster, those characters are going to be more reliable in general than Cecil, just because they don't deal HP damage to themselves, and then they might also have other uses that Cecil might not. So number 1 Cecil, number 2 Cloud, Lael, or just anyone who has another launch ability. And then my number 3 priority would be just the strongest character that I have. So for instance, Lightning, she's one of my strongest character, so I would put her number 3. So I guess I can put them right here. So number 1 Cecil, number 1 Cloud, and number 3 Lightning, which is my strongest character, my most reliable. She will be able to win pretty much any co-op run without any risk. It might not give the best score, but it will give a reliable score, whereas with Cloud and Cecil, yes, I have the potential to get much higher scores, but there is also a much higher risk of failing the co-op or just getting very low score, because even if I might get the summon faster, what if my Cloud and Cecil, they're not strong enough, and then we end up getting more turns anyway, so it kind of ruins the point of getting the summon fast if I can't deal enough damage with these two. And then obviously the fourth one, well, there is no fourth one, right? The fourth one would be a character that is considered weak, so you don't want to bring a weak character, but you do have to keep in mind that there are going to be weak characters as well, so you have to watch out for those and decide whether or not you want to go with that weak character in your team, or if you want to join a different team. So, and especially if you don't have a strong character, because some of you might be new to the game, and what if you pretty much have to go in with a weak character? And if you go in with a weak character, you pretty much have to use a better summon like an Ifrit or something, because you're gonna have a hard time using Sylph or Chocobo. So there is the potential that some players might bring in weak characters just because that's the best they have. So now that we have our priority, we have our characters here, so Cecil, Cloud, and Lightning. I actually did get Lael as well. I got his 15 CP lately, and I don't know if I would use him over Cloud, to be honest. Maybe I don't have his 5-star armor though, so I guess I'll just use Cloud for now. But Lael, he might be an interesting option here as well, but we're just gonna consider these three right here. So the first thing that we need to know is how strong these characters are. So, and in my case here, I basically know that Cecil, he's kind of weak because I'm running a Crimson Edge with 1 limit break, so he's not gonna deal that much damage. And then Cloud, he's also kind of weak, but maybe he's a bit better than Cecil. He obviously doesn't deal damage to himself, he has the paralysis, and maybe even his cross slash deals more damage in general compared to Cecil. And it is a Brave plus HP, which is generally more valuable than normal Brave attacks, because you can do more in one turn. So both Cecil and Cloud, they're both on the weaker side here. And then Lightning, she is my strongest character. She is almost MLB. I have her 15 CP MLB, and I'm gonna MLB her 35 as well once I get my final Power Stone in a day, basically. So there is that. So now we have to go into a co-op, and then we have to decide on the team compositions, and we basically have to determine the strength of our teammates. So if I were to go, say for instance, if I'm gonna host, so if I'm gonna embark as a host, I can pretty much leave my Cecil there, because people are gonna come in. If they don't like my Cecil, they can leave, then others can come in, so it's not that big of a deal. However, if I want to go with guest, then that is much trickier, right? Because if you get into a team with or in this case with my weak Cecil, some players might disband, right? There is a chance that they will disband on me. So if I were to go in as a guest and try and not have them disband, I would put in my lightning, for instance, and then I can decide as I go in if I should switch to Cecil or not, just in case I want to actually play the game, right, and I just have the game disbanded on me. So that's one thing to consider. So in general, since my Cecils and Cloud are on the weak side, what I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need 2 strong teammates, and that is pretty much what you need in general for a good co-op run. You want at least 2 strong players in the team. If you have a third one on the weaker side, you're still going to do pretty fine, but obviously if you have 3 strong on the team, then you're gonna do amazing. But 2 strong, 1 weak should work fairly well as well. And then let's see, so in this case I would only bring Cecil or Cloud if I have 2 other strong teammates in the composition, in the mix. Otherwise it's not going to work, because my Cecil, my Cloud, they already don't deal that much damage. So if I don't have enough damage with my other teammates, then it's not gonna work and it's going to be a horrible experience, right? So it is much better to go with lightning in that case. And I think that is about it. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So I'm gonna host, and since we're hosting, I'm gonna leave my Cecil there, and let's see what happens. Alright, let's just go in free recruit. Then I kind of wish that I could still be able to swap out here whenever someone joins, but I actually have to go through this thing right here. So we have Penelo, we have Lightning, and I do believe we have a strong team. So Lightning, and you need, I guess I should have mentioned that you need to have level 11 plus on all the summons. If they're not level 11 plus, you're not gonna get the faster summon rate, right? And that will basically ruin the whole strategy. So you definitely need level 11 plus Sylph or Chocobo. And then you have to check the gear of your teammates, and we did see that we have MLB Lightning in there, and we have Penelo with a 35, and Penelo, she is the synergy character for this event. So I believe we have 2 strong teammates here, and we're about to see. So we got a perfect Valiant Blow there. That was really nice. Now the boss is targeting us, which is not ideal. However, since we have a strong team, they should be able to break the boss. And okay, she went for the Great Haste, but he didn't HP attack because it's just his second turn. So we are good for now, because we definitely don't want to take HP damage on Cecil. But it looks like we're getting our HP back since we have Penelo anyway, so this is going really well so far. But basically, this boss is actually kind of a pain in the butt, so we have to be careful here. Cecil, I think we tried playing Cecil and we didn't do too well, just because this boss has some mechanics that can really screw you over with Cecil. He has AoE Brave plus HP, he has a lot of defense whenever he goes into his shell mode. He is pretty tanky, it takes a lot of effort to get him down. I'm gonna do HP here, just because we don't have that much bravery there. And let's see what happens. They can get more. Okay, Penelo, she has a ton of bravery, so even if she goes with Flourish, we can still go with the Valiant Blow here. And we're obviously not full bravery. This is a talk about Cecil in general that we should have, and I kind of did the math a little bit just to determine when you should and when you shouldn't use Valiant Blow in this scenario right here, after you have used your or after you have charged your summons. Okay, so far it's going really well. So even though we had the weaker Cecil with just a meager Crimson Blade with 1 limit break, we are doing fairly well. Okay, we got the Chocobo. So here I'm actually... I guess I'll HP 4900. I could have probably just used Darkness or something. I don't know if it would have been a big difference though, because I'm kind of trying to get ready for a Valiant Blow. However, it looks like I'm not gonna get it. Vanello, she's out of the turn order. Should still have 1 more summon, right? So let's see what we can do. He's gonna go into his thing. Yeah. I believe Penelo has 1 more summon. He's fairly low HP though, so we should be good. Ooh, she's out of skills as well. She went really hard. I like that. Oh, we're actually out of... okay. So that was actually a mistake by me. I should have used my Valiant Blow there. I did not pay attention to see that we are out of summons, and we lost some damage there, unfortunately. But let's see what happens here. Ooh, good thing we had the Penelo. So see, that's the issue right there with this boss. But some other bosses are weaker, so normally it wouldn't be this bad. Okay, so we used the Valiant Blow there, which was a decent Valiant Blow. Get the Brave attack here, which is fine because he's gonna go into... oh, she went for the HP, okay. It does look like, yeah, we have enough bravery. Alright, so we sort of succeeded there, as you can see. I made a mistake there with the Valiant Blow. We lost some momentum there, and we almost paid for it. But luckily we did have Penelo. She saved us, and we did get 51k, which is pretty good. I believe if I were to bring in Lightning, we would have gotten maybe like around the same, or maybe a bit lower, maybe 40. Usually I was getting like 44k, 45k with Lightning, so maybe we did get a little bit better score with Cecil. But ideally you want to finish the boss before you have used up all your 3 summons. So as you can see right there, we did use all our 3 summons, and then we ended up using more turns, which is not ideal when you are bringing in a weak Cecil like I did there. So that is it with this co-op video. I hope you understand some of the gameplay, some of the thought process that goes behind in figuring out what kind of characters to bring in your co-op teams. And I think we actually did a Cecil, yeah, we did a Cecil video already, where we tried to talk about how to play Cecil in general, but there is also some info on the Valiant Blow use, but we might do another video on Cecil. I'm not that experienced on Cecil, but I think I'm doing a fairly decent job so far. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you are using when you're doing co-op. And I guess I did forget about one detail. Yeah, this is kind of important. So let's go back into the co-op, Burning Passion. So we have the characters, we have the summons, but we also need to know the boss. So this is actually important. So we know that it is the aggressive turtle. Now in some other co-ops there might be 2 bosses or 3 bosses, or just 1 boss and then more minions or something like that. And whenever there are multiple targets, I feel like Cecil is not, or is less of an option there, just because since you have 3 targets, then you have a higher chance of them targeting your Cecil and killing you off. So ideally you want to have just the one boss like we do have here. However, this boss is really tricky and can pose quite a few problems for Cecil, and case in point. So we can see the elements, and obviously, so for instance here we see the ice weakness, so we could potentially bring in Shiva just for that boost there if you wanted to. Then you gotta see the attacks, like say for instance if he was weak to magic, then we could be able to bring a magical character in here instead of lightning, which is a physical character. And then we have some other stuff in here, and we have the skills. So from the skills you can see that, okay, brave magic attacks, melee HP, but then you have brave plus HP, so you have to be careful about that, especially if you're running Cecil. And then you have great gazer here, group range brave plus HP after gaining bravery based on initial. So this one, since it is a group range and it also gains bravery, this is pretty much deadly for Cecil. So you have to be very careful whenever you have such an ability, because basically whenever the boss decides to do this ability, your Cecil is done. You're not going to survive, right? Because you're gonna use that valiant blow and you're gonna be very, very low on HP, and he will basically just one-shot you with this thing no matter who he is targeting, because it's a group range. Even if there's that one skill that deals the most damage to one character and splashes an amount to the other two, you're probably still going to be in a lot of trouble even with that kind of situation. Although that might be a little bit better than this one. This one distributes the damage evenly between all the three of your party members. So this is one really deadly skill here when you're bringing your Cecil. And then retreat hides in shell raise resistance to physical and magic damage. This one also you have to be careful whenever the boss has a defense up or any kind of way to mitigate damage or any kind of tank skills, because obviously if you're gonna bring in Cecil, you want to try and finish the boss as fast as possible, because you keep on losing your HP, and the longer the battle goes, the risk goes higher that the boss will eventually target your Cecil and kill you off as a result. So this one is again a threat for your Cecil. And then you have group range brave attack, melee brave attack, brave magic attack. Those are generally okay. Maybe the group ranged might pose a little bit of a problem there, but there we go. So that is it for the for this co-op video. I think we've talked about pretty much everything we needed. I don't think we've forgotten anything. Obviously you want to get your characters as strong as possible, and for a newcomer I would recommend that they get their character at least level 40 and level 40 crystal and max out your gear. It is not that hard to get a character to 40. You usually just farm some tier 3 crystals, do it for like 30 minutes and you are good to go. And that would be a minimum in my opinion to join a co-op. So level 40/40, that is pretty easy to get. Max out your gear, equip your passives. I guess if you have artifact passives, even better. If you don't, that's fine, because we don't have the artifact event running all the time obviously. But then in terms of summons, if you have level 11 plus Chocobo or Sylph, then go ahead and pick those two. If you don't have level 11 plus Chocobo or Sylph, then the things get a bit trickier. I would rather go with a level 11 plus Ifrit if you don't have level 11 plus Sylph Chocobo, because I believe the summon speed is the same, or relatively the same. So I would rather just bring in the level 11 plus Ifrit rather than the non-upgraded or the level 10 and below Sylph and Chocobo. But if you don't have any summon that is level 11 plus, so if yourself and Chocobo are level 10 or lower, and then everyone else is also like I have here level 5, level 3, you can probably bring in a level 10 Sylph or Chocobo, because obviously level 5, this one is moderately slow, so this will take forever to activate. So that is sort of the priority in terms of summons. So number 1, level 11 plus Sylph or Chocobo. Number 2, level 11 plus Ifrit and the other gang. Number 3, level 10 or lower Sylph and Chocobo. And number 4, level 10 or lower any of the other summons. So there you go, just to clear that one out. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what kind of teams do you prefer in tackling these co-op missions, and do you prefer having launchers? Do you prefer just going with the strong meta team, or do you prefer just bringing in your favorite characters? Let me know in the comments below. But anyway guys, shall see you in the next video. Have a good one and take care.